Welcome back to BourseTV, where we illuminate the success of companies big and small. I'm Rod North. We have a very interesting company called SolidHydrogen being interviewed today that's positioning itself to become an industrial player of scale in the highly topical renewable energy space with hydrogen. Hydrogen has been gaining significant popularity in recent years because of all the different clean uses and applications the fuel source offers. To tell us more about the company and what it is doing, how it is positioning itself in the market, and how it could be a future unicorn from an investment point of view, we have the highly credentialed CEO, Philippe Odouard, in the studio. Philippe is well known for his stewardship of two successful ASX-listed startups in world technology industrialisation, where, during the process, Philippe raised in excess of 100 million in grants and loans. The SolidHydrogen team also working with him has world-leading expertise and is best of class technically. You will hear more about them during the interview. Welcome, Philippe, to BourseTV.
Good morning, Rod.
Hi there. So, Philippe, can you just sort of set the scene for us? Hydrogen's been gaining significant popularity in recent years because of all the different clean uses and applications the fuel source offers. Hydrogen energy storage is one of these applications. So what have been the key drivers for this?
Well, hydrogen is not exactly new on the market. It has been used for many years, and for industrial applications in particular. Remember the Germans during World War II were making fuel for their aircraft and tanks using hydrogen. It was, of course, done with a slightly different hydrogen. It was a very unclean hydrogen, but it has been there for a long time. So it has some benefits that are of great interest. It's very light. It's extremely energetic. It's 3 times as energetic as petrol, but it's very thin. So you need to, if you want to put it somewhere store it in a way or another, it takes a lot of space. Our technology in particular, would reduce that by a factor nearly 100. So all these pictures that you can see around us, showing the sort of size you normally have, would actually come down dramatically.
So it's a miniaturization.
A lot of it, yes, exactly. And you can do it as well in terms of safety as well, because hydrogen is being so energetic, has some explosive nature. The fact that we actually associate it with a solid, as we call it, solid hydrogen, there's a reason, it makes it completely safe. It's non-explosive at all. So yes, the story here is very interesting. Millions of tons are being manufactured now, but it's going to go much further in the future.
So for the benefit of BourseTV viewers, can you explain what hydrogen storage is, how it works? And is it similar to a concept to battery energy storage as it works to offset peak electricity demands, charges by storing and supplying unused energy?
So that's really what is going to make this market, grow exponentially. Up to now, the hydrogen was made using methane and, producing lots of CO2. If you want to do it by electrolyzing the water, which produces hydrogen and oxygen, with electricity, typically green electricity, you would have, an extremely clean hydrogen, which is great because it has, these properties that are so good. But the question is really more, how do you cater for the intermittent electricity that you'd get from green electricity? And so when you operate at an industrial basis, 24/7, well, that's not what you get out of green energy. So storing hydrogen is sometimes much easier to store than electricity itself. And so in that sense, you're right to say that it has a similar effect than a battery.
But greater longevity?
So greater longevity, we typically do 10,000 cycles with our system. A battery would do 1,000, 1,500 maybe. So 10 times as long. For us, if you do a cycle a day, that's 30 years. That's a long time. And it's also allows to sort of release it, over a much longer period, which is much harder to do on batteries, because you need very big batteries if you want to release on a very long period. Remember, you have sun probably 8 hours a day. If you want to produce something industrial 24/7, you have to last another 16 hours.
Yes.
So you need something that can store large quantities in a safe manner at a cost, which is, of course, as small as possible. And that's what we provide as well.
So it sort of leads to the next question, which is what are the benefits of hydrogen energy storage and why does it have extra unique advantages? Is it correct to say that hydrogen energy technology can store energy for weeks at a time while other energy storage systems have discharge periods of 4 hours or less? And you sort of touched on this a bit. This means you can store larger amounts of energy for longer periods of time. Now, that's a big plus, I would have thought, for hydrogen.
Well, it's probably less the fact that it can release it over a longer period of time. You can do it with a battery as well. I mean, your computer would keep its battery for the whole day, typically. No, maybe not for every computer, but most of the time. What it can do is you can actually store a lot more, and because it's more affordable than batteries. And you can also use that for industrial purposes. Batteries typically have an efficiency issue. The bigger the battery, the less efficient it is. In our case, for hydrogen, you get the same efficiency anywhere. You can keep it in your storage basically forever. You don't lose anything. Whereas battery has your tendency to sort of degrade gradually. So yes, it's a much more flexible medium to store.
Now, just moving to more about solid hydrogen from an industrial application and how it applies directly to the company. Can you explain the status of hydrogen development on a large industrial scale?
Yes, it's actually quite important because a lot of big projects are being looked at the present time in the world, basically. And people have a tendency to only think about the actual production of hydrogen on one side and its use on the other, but forget what's in between. What's in between is our business, basically. And you have three main things that you do in between. You purify it because hydrogen is typically never clean. You always have other gases mixed with it. So we can clean it. You can compress it. Well, it's very thin, so it needs to be compressed in most cases, except when we store it ourselves. In that case, you don't need to. But then you can store it, of course, which is and those three things are very very expensive to do with traditional methods. With us, we basically each of those compression, purification, storage are typically about half the price of their competitors. Now, if you combine them together, you can purify and compress, or you can purify and store. The costs go even further down. So certainly, instead of having projects that can't find profitability to be funded, because at the end of the day, this paraphernalia in the middle is so expensive, so people are expecting subsidies to sort of compensate for that. As you have seen, the subsidies are really on the it's waning away, especially in the US. Yes. And so you need to be able to be commercially viable. And so with our technology, suddenly these big projects become commercially viable.
So this is probably a good time to tell us about the world-recognised team behind Solid Hydrogen, their expertise to head up the company to make a big impact on the industrial scale. You've got some pretty formidable and well-credentialed people there.
Yes, our CTO is François Zinzou, is a professor at the University of Sydney, yes. Professor of chemistry. He is the world leader in terms of metal hydride, this way we actually store the hydrogen. He's been in that for 20 years or so. He's authored hundreds of peer-reviewed papers.
So internationally recognized?
Internationally recognized. He's been the advisor to the G7 last year in Tokyo on the future of hydrogen. So I mean that really gives you the caliber of that particular person, and he's a fantastic guy, by the way, as well. It doesn't do any harm. So yes, it's very credentialed, as you say.
It's impressive in that you've got the people that you need to have at this stage of your development, to take the company forward. You couldn't get any better people really in the world to assist you. And
a lot of our competitors really only have one or none, which is even worse.
Yes, and you've had all the company
where we have the whole lot, and that's how we can make it, a lot cheaper than others. We'll go over that in a minute.
Now, sort of unlocking the holy grail a bit for solid hydrogen, the SH2 technology, where it stores hydrogen in a metal alloy, making it solid, hence the name, that it can substantially bring the cost down. Can you explain how that works?
Yes. A slide that we have behind us explains that in a very, very simple way. The technology is extremely simple. There's no industrial things behind it. You have the gas, which is typically hydrogen, that you inject into a vessel that includes the metal alloy that we put in that vessel, and as the gas gets into it, it gets absorbed by the alloy, and that's done at a particular pressure. When the alloy is full, that means every connection with the molecules of the alloy are full. The reaction stops. And that takes a few minutes, really. So you recharge in a few minutes. Mm-hmm. So it's not 8 hours for a battery, it's a few minutes. When then you drop the pressure, automatically the hydrogen will be released, which is perfect. Absolutely no, at ambient temperature, absolutely no industrial process that a lot of the other technologies would involve, and which would bring the cost dramatically high. Yep. It's as simple as injecting at say 30 bar into this, open the tap of your vessel, fill it up, 5 minutes later, close the tap, wait until you need it, open the tap, it goes. That's it. That is as simple as that. So really, it's something that is very, very interesting. I mean, again, no explosion risk in this. We said it was very safe. So now that it is combined with a metal, it's non-explosive. We said that it could do 10,000 cycles. We can actually recycle the whole thing. We can get the raw material anywhere in the world. It's not limited to China and other places. So it's a very good technology. You can see here the comparison between our technology that you can see on the left. In dark blue, you have the cost of storage per kilo per cycle. In the light blue, you have quantity that you can store in a liter, if you like. So you can see, compared to other technologies, the first two are gaseous. You can see that the cost is a fraction of what you can get at 300 or 700 bar. As liquid, the cost is infinitely less, because the liquid, you have to cool it down to minus 250. Those that are like us, solid, like LOHC or MOFs, you can see the cost involves an industrial process, which makes it very expensive. If you look at the density now of the H2 per liter, hydrogen per liter, you can see that we beat everyone else, by a long shot. So typically 700 bar, we store 3 times as much. At 100 bar, which is typically what you see behind us, you'd be 50 times more. So you could store in a very, very small container, we call them H2 cube. You can store in a 20-foot container about a ton of hydrogen, which is unmatched anywhere.
So it sort of leads us to the next question about competitors in this space and what your unique selling position is compared to competitors. Could you sort of just touch on that a bit?
We have a few people doing metal hydrides as well. They tend to have 2 issues. Our chemistry is so much better because we have the right person in the team. We can store typically about 50% more in the same weight compared to our competitors. But the fact that we have a very, very good specialist on the metallurgic side, we can make it at a fraction of the cost. We use a methodology, basically a process that would have a continuous melting. So we can produce things at a much lower price compared to a much lower cost compared to anyone. And so, a lot of our competitors, are not even featuring in there. Now, not only do we feature against them, but we feature with that technology against any other storage possibility. And you can do, of course, the 3 things that I mentioned before. You can actually purify, half the cost. You can compress from a few bars to a few hundred bars. So it's a chemical process which is extremely cheap and extremely reliable. mechanical compressors on hydrogen are made of steel, and hydrogen attack the steel. It's not so good. For us, it's chemical. It's half the price as well. And of course, storage, which is where we are very, very competitive as well.
So tell us a bit about your current operation and its maturity, and what are the next steps you need to scale the operation up?
So at this stage, we are at what we call TRL 7, which means we've done the research on one side at a few grams, if you like. We have a prototype plant which produces at the kilo level. So it's already, it's not industrial yet, but it's a prototype level. So that's TRL 7. The next step is getting to TRL 8. To do that, you need to produce systems that are at scale. And that's why we are, at the present time, raising some money to be able to get there. We're aiming at doing something at about 5 kilos per hour, which means we'll be able to propose pilots with people that could store about 50 kilos in a container at a time. 50 kilos of hydrogen is a lot of hydrogen.
Yes.
Because it's so energetic, you can do a lot with it. And the next step after that is, of course, the full industrial one.
Yes.
But by then, we already have tested most of what is necessary to sort of get to the 5 kilos. We need to finish it off, and that will take us, without any more technology, to the industrial one.
Right. So how has the market responded to date to solid hydrogen, and what support have you been given by way of grants to use your technology?
So we've got a grant from the Australian government to do a compressor, like what we're talking about. It's about to be finished in the next 3 months or so. So we'll be able to show it around. We've already done, quite a few prototypes before on our own funds. We've taken a commercial contract with a research institute where we actually developed the alloy to store it. We've produced 50 kilos of it for these people, and they're now putting it into a system. But when a research industry goes to you to sort of do that research and the development, that means you're really on the right track.
Yes, exactly. You certainly do.
So in parallel to that, of course, we do a lot of work in terms of testing the market and different markets on this. We've done a lot of contacts with people doing refueling of hydrogen. We've made a techno-economic study about it. For a refueling station, for the part that we deal with, which is mainly compression and storage, the capex is about 75% cheaper, and the combined capex plus OPEX is about 90% cheaper. So that gives you the magnitude of what we're talking about. We're not talking about it's 10% less. It's 75 or 95.
Yes,
that's massive. We've done things in the same vein with much bigger industrial projects, typically for SAF, synthetic fuel.
Yes,
we talked about it, with the Germans, but now that's what the aircraft industry is looking at to sort of fuel the long-haul aircraft in the 2050s and so on. So, there's a lot there. We managed to get, again, in there, savings between 25 to 50%. That is absolutely massive.
Pretty amazing.
And we have same thing in terms of ammonia manufacturing. We can supply, those kinds of order of magnitude. So we talked to these people. They gave us some real cases, some full specification. We gave them the full cost, and they gave us that feedback. So it's not us having some good ideas about it. It's something that has been tested with real people that have projects. Some of them have projects that are blocked because it's not profitable enough. So suddenly, we can unlock that.
Yes.
So you can see the potential
real opportunities
is really enormous. Yeah.
So sort of based on what you've said on the applications of this technology, is it possible that you can become a unicorn in the industry within 6 to 7 years? What could the market value be then?
Definition of a unicorn is a market cap of $1 billion.
Yes, exactly.
That's what we aim. Our focus really is industrial. So solid hydrogen really, go for the big ticket items. And when you go for an ammonia plant, there's nothing below $1 billion. A SAF plant, same thing.
Yes.
So in a setup like this, we would probably represent about 20% of one of these investments, which is around $1 billion plus. Mm-hmm. So one of those is 200 million in terms of sales.
Yep.
Do 4 or 5 a year, that's $1 billion sales. Yeah. That's probably $1 billion market cap.
Valuation.
So it's probably not that difficult to get. I mean, I'm used to sort of doing very big deals, and when I see the interest of the people that are interested by the technology, it is very much in our
favour.
Yeah.
Yes. Just in wrapping up, can you please tell us about what capital you're currently looking for in terms of raising in equity, and what would those funds be used for?
So we're trying to raise about $2 million at the present time. Mm-hmm. So that would cover a pilot plant to produce the alloy on one side, but it will also include some contribution to pilot systems, which will be using the alloy to sort of put in with real customers at scale, at the real scale. As I said, about 50 kilos of hydrogen storage. So that's what we'd be using it for, and manning it and doing it. So yeah, it's something that could happen in as soon as we get the money in about 6 months or so. So it's not
can move pretty quickly.
Can move very quickly.
So it's fair to say then that the future of hydrogen is solid, inexpensive and safe with SH2. Now is the time to invest and reap the benefits of clean, abundant energy. For more information about solid hydrogen, or if you would like to invest in this potential unicorn, you can visit the company website at www.solidhydrogen.tech or email info@solidhydrogen.tech. Thanks, Philippe, for joining BourseTV to talk about solid hydrogen and how it is positioning itself on an industrial scale in the renewable energy sector. You have assembled a formidable team of world-leading experts around you, and the company is certainly making great strides in this space and destined to be very successful, having such a great pedigree. We will be watching the company's progress very closely over coming months and look forward to updates and you reaching those key milestones. Also, good luck with your current $2 million capital raising and positioning yourself as a highly prospective unicorn in this field with the potential in time to reach a market cap with a value of over $1 billion. Now is the time to invest and reap the benefits of a clean, abundant energy. BourseTV looks forward to bringing many more success stories of companies prepared to have a go and make a difference in their respective marketplaces. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rob.